Across industry and government, the pressure to adopt LLMs like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and Copilot is real. Timelines are tighter, procurement cycles move faster. Competitors are already using models to compress knowledge work that used to take weeks into work that can now take days. Done right, LLMs can change how fast a small team thinks, iterates, and ships. They can turn raw notes into structured decisions. They can accelerate research. They can make repetitive, document-heavy work faster and cheaper. For many organizations, this is the difference between keeping pace and falling behind. That is why teams are adopting LLMs before their policies are perfect. The upside is too large to ignore. But there is a problem. LLMs get meaningfully better when you feed them reality. The more truthful the input, the more useful the output. That same benefit can become a weakness. The truthful details that make an LLM useful can also turn a private plan into something others can reconstruct, even without stealing a file. This is the emerging threat of idea leakage. And it becomes even more important in the world I described in my piece on ambient AI, where LLMs are no longer confined to one chat window. They are appearing inside email clients, meeting tools, browsers, office suites, developer environments, and customer systems. As LLMs become ambient, the leakage surface expands. Some employees will not care all the time. Even those who do care will not be able to catch everything all the time. So the question is no longer only, did someone steal the document? The question becomes, did we leak the logic that makes our next move easy to infer? Picture a mid-sized autonomy company called Arbor Dynamics. The team holds a closed door offsite to lock next year's plan. They start the way many teams start. They use an LLM for options, synthesis, and formatting. Then the prompts get sharper. They paste in the internal threshold for profitability in a region. They include the real reasons churn is rising in one segment. They add the objection map they've learned from business development conversations. They describe the lesson from a failed pilot they cannot repeat. None of this is a single classified document. None of it looks like a dramatic breach. But together, those fragments encode the logic of the plan. By the end of the day, the LLM output contains the positioning, the sequencing, and the rationale that makes the strategy coherent. A month later, Arbor sees no classic incident, no breach, no ransomware, no obvious exfiltration. Still, a competitor's plan starts to rhyme with theirs. Same wedge, similar packaging logic, familiar rollout structure. Not copied language, but the same structure of conclusions. This is what changes in the LLM era. Strategy is no longer just a deck sitting in a folder. It is also the reasoning trail that produces the deck. Prompts, summaries, rewrites, and clean prose can quietly embed internal assumptions. Even if nobody trains on your data, LLMs can make it easier for competitors to combine public signals with industry patterns and converge on the same answers faster than humans do. In other words, even if you keep documents private, your plan may still become predictable. This problem is not limited to classified programs or defense startups. It scales down into smaller organizations because their workflows blend strategy and client information by default. A small doctor's office can leak patient details and operational thresholds while asking for better notes, prior authorization letters, or referral follow-ups. A law firm can leak client facts, negotiation posture, and settlement ranges while asking for draft language. A money manager can leak client identities, risk limits, balancing triggers, and pricing logic while asking for portfolio commentary or client updates. In each case, the organization adopts LLMs because it needs the productivity. Then it accidentally exports the exact context that makes its work and client relationships defensible. So what does strategy protection become? Arbor's mistake was thinking strategy is protected if access control is tight and the real deck stays internal. In LLM workflows, organizations also have to protect conclusions and the scaffolding that makes those conclusions reachable. The simplest rule is this: if a piece of information would materially help a competitor recreate your plan, it should not cross into systems you do not control. That includes strategy-bearing fragments and client information, even when they are embedded inside otherwise harmless-looking prose. Awareness helps, policies help, training helps. But awareness alone is not enough. You cannot expect every employee to recognize every risk fragment in real time, especially when LLMs are becoming ambient and embedded into normal work. This is where SenTeGuard fits in. SenTeGuard is built around the modern loss condition. Not just, did someone steal our PDF, but did we leak the logic that makes our next move easy to infer? The goal is not to ban LLMs. In most organizations, they are becoming necessary to stay competitive. The goal is to let people use them with confidence, without turning private logic or client data into portable text. SenTeGuard supports 3 operating modes. Blocking prevents strategy-bearing content from leaving controlled environments. Alerting prompts manual review when the risk is unclear. Flagging records risky leakage patterns passively. which can also be useful as a trial or low-stakes proof of concept. This is how organizations avoid the false choice between productivity and security. They can encourage adoption because the boundary is enforced where work actually happens. The bottom line is simple. You must protect ideas, not just documents. The future of AI security will not only be about preventing dramatic breaches, it will also be about preventing quiet conversions. A competitor who did not steal your deck but arrived at your plan. The prompt that did not contain a password but carried the reasoning behind your strategy. Workflow that did not leak a file but exposed the assumptions that made the file valuable. That is the emerging threat of idea leakage. And the organizations that understand it early will be able to use LLMs with confidence. They will move faster without becoming more exposed. They will protect the documents, but more importantly, they will protect the ideas.